Right, so I picked some beetroot from the garden the other day. They were left in way too long. Seriously, I think 2 of them were about the size of my head. There are photos to prove it, I will show you. So I don't want them to go to waste, so I'm doing pickled beetroot. So these are the beetroots. I've literally just popped them in a pot of boiling water until the biggest ones are tender to the touch with either a skewer or a fork. Once that's done, I'll turn it off. I'll take them out and let them cool a little bit before I grab some disposable gloves. And I will take the skin off and chop them. Then I will put them in jars, which I've got in the oven here. Just getting them sterilized. Hopefully I've got enough. I didn't really plan ahead. Once that's done, I'll also, I've got to put on the pickling solution, but that's not done yet. But when I do it, I'll show you how I do it. But yeah, let's do it. Okay, so our beetroots are done. I just need to take them out of the water, peel them and chop them. I do still need to do my pickling solution. So the recipe I've got is from the seed collection. So I have no idea how many kilos of beetroots I've got there. I just eyeballed it. So I'll do as the recipe says. I will put 4.5 cups of vinegar in. I'm not using apple cider, just white vinegar. I'll put 1.5 teaspoons of salt in. I will put 2 cups of sugar in. I'll put 2.5 cups of the water that the beetroot cooked in. Put that in. I'm not going to worry about the cinnamon quills or cloves, but I will put probably, because I'm not using those, with the pickling spices, I'll probably put about 2.5 tablespoons, maybe 3 tablespoons worth in. So I've got all of the ingredients here. So I'm going to measure that out into the pan, and then we will bring it to the boil. What does it say we need to do? Yeah, so bring it to the boil, simmer it for 5 minutes, and then we can add it to the sterilized jars that will have the beetroot in. But let's get to it instead of rambling on to you guys. Okay, so this is the amount of beetroots I've got. So I haven't peeled them yet, but I have taken them out of the water. I have ladled the beetroot water liquid that I needed from the pan into the jug. What I will do though is I will add that to my pot of other ingredients. So per that recipe, what I've added in there is I've got the vinegar, I've got the salt, I've got the sugar. The beetroot water is about to go in. Now I didn't do the cinnamon quills and I didn't do the cloves. I did do the 2 tablespoons of pickling spices, and there was only a tiny bit left in the container. So what I did is I actually added the rest of them in. But what I've also done for something different, because I wasn't putting the cinnamon quills in, I did actually do a teaspoon of ground cinnamon to add to it. But when I'm adding the beetroot liquid to it, because I only roughly washed the beetroots before I cooked them, I don't want any of the top bits and whatnot to go in. So I've just got a sieve over the pot that's about to go on to simmer, and I'm just going to pour it straight through that. So if there's any chunky bits from that liquid, that's going to catch it, which that's actually not too bad. There wasn't too much, so that's cool. That is now on to bring to the boil. So putting the beetroot water in just adds a bit of colour and looks better once it's in the jars. So that's there. I'm gonna pop the lid on so that way it'll come to a boil and simmer quicker. In the meantime, I am going to start peeling the beetroots and cutting them so that way they're ready to go in the jars by the time this comes to a simmer and we're ready to add it to the jars. pickled beetroot if it doesn't half look like a murder scene in your kitchen with beetroot juice in weird spots and on the floor, even though you thought you did a really good job of not making a mess. Alright, so we've got our beetroot peeled, cut up in the jars, ready to go. So now we need to put the pickling solution into them, seal the lids, and then we're going to pop them in the oven to heat treat them for about 30 to 40 minutes at 100 degrees Celsius. Now, because this mixture has got all of your different pickling spices in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ladle it with a soup ladle from the pot into this jug, and I'll pour it in. But what I'm gonna do is this lovely little sieve, I'm going to pop there to catch any of the chunky bits from the pickling solution, because I don't want to be picking bits off of my beetroot when I want to eat it. So that's what we're gonna do.